Right, here we go for another Amiga Lads video. This time we're in Leicestershire. So what we're going to go see today, Ads?
We're going to see a man about Commodore business machines.
And who's that man?
David Pleasance.
Yeah, he's supposed to be down here. We had a funny story once when we was kids. We saw him down a car boots house, strangely. It was the demise of Commodore itself. And I actually bought a Commodore C off him for £5.
A mate of mine, Mike, of ours, bought a Comic Relief poster and a mug. I think you remember the mug, I don't.
Yeah.
But yeah, Mike, he bought them, but sadly they got lost.
Yeah, I still got my Commodore 64C though, still in the loft, still in the original packing. I just can't believe I got bought one actually off of David Pleasant for £5.
It's amazing seeing him just sitting there. I mean, we were young. How old? 16, 15,
yeah,
like that, years old. No cameras, obviously. You know, out getting Amiga games off a market, and yeah, just to see him sitting there was just funny.
Yeah, selling off all the Commodore merchandise, and he had very high disregard if he wanted to get rid of it and shot of it really quick.
Yeah.
It's quite funny. Yeah, so we're going to this museum today. We're about 20 minutes off, I think it is. Apparently it's a Christmas event for the Retro Hour down there with Dan and Ravi. They've got David Pleasant down there as well. They don't get there till 1, I believe, but we're going to be get there nice and early to have a look through the museum. It's also, we've met him before, haven't we, as well?
Yeah, plenty of times we have, haven't we? Not David, obviously, only once. But Dan and Ravi, yeah, they sort of bump into him everywhere now.
Yeah. Plus the people that run the museum, we've seen them as well.
Yeah, Andy Spencer. It's the only bloke I know his name. But yeah, top bloke. And yeah, it'd be nice to pop up there in Manchester. We normally get loads of Spectrum games and magazines and stuff. That's where my money is normally spent. So it's nice to actually go up and see him in, where he works and
and see the museum as well. They've also, from what I've read up, they've got 9 computers going back to 1960 as well in there, which would be quite interesting. So that'd be that'd be really interesting. But who knows? We'll be there in a bit, and we'll catch you in a second.
All right, cheers. So we're just looking for the Retro Computer Museum. What direction do you think it would be on?
Your destination is on the left.
So, Miss Satnav lady's telling us it's on the left. Steve is saying it's on the right.
We found it.
But
it's over there.
That's it there, yeah.
That was easy. That was easier than the other one.
It was.
Oh, look.
What?
Amount of people we're going to have to park in front of.
Yeah, well, he said there was loads of parking anyway. The ST looks nice.
It's parking next to this one.
Yeah. Right, it's a blank wall. I'll catch you later. Right, so it's the first time we're going to be walking into it. Yeah. We haven't even walked through the door yet. So
yeah, look, there's the sign over there.
The sign there. If I get it right. I was going to turn the camera sideways, but then you have to turn your tellies sideways. You'll have to. Right, we're going to knock on the door. So we don't know who's in here. We don't know if this is the right entrance or not, but we'll give it a go.
Oh, is it that time of year? Hot dog! Hello.
Morning.
Simmering nicely, they look far too tempting.
2 hot dogs. Okay, there you go.
Thank you.
We thought we'd come up and say hello.
Hi.
You're the lady that does. She's not the lady, but you look like
one
the
that
lady.
goes to Manchester?
Yeah.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not.
What's that? Oh, the games.
Try this, see if it's hot. I don't like to. Just try it.
Well, these for sale ones.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Only have a tiny.
That's pretty cool.
It feels really nice.
Look at this.
What's that?
Mega Drive stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hot.
Atari.
We're looking for magic carpet. Again.
Even that bloody magic carpet.
I want it.
Oh God. No bloody way.
What happens?
Can't believe you're here.
Oh yeah, we made it. We did.
Right.
Yeah, not bad at all. We're just looking at your games, trying to look for a magic carpet.
These guys, Linda, these guys buy so much stuff from us at Play. They have to get extra cars to go and pick them up.
Yeah, I've been looking on it.
We can't find it. We can't.
What do you mean that?
What's that? The thing is, there's so much.
Got your seat there. Crash. These will crash.
Yeah, that's what I want. Well, that Sega power and stuff there.
That's something you want.
Yeah,
The actual folders to put them in.
yeah. Trouble, you can't really film it. That's the thing. You can't. In that space. Yeah.
Oh, Disney. So all the Assassin's Creeds.
Won't worry about that. I can see Sensi.
Oh, look at that. That reminds me of the bedrooms. We used to have them in the bedrooms.
Yeah, still got them.
No, but you know what I mean? As in
Yeah.
the way they're stacked up.
Yeah.
Cool, I got that one.
I've got everything on the VHD load. Yeah, I had some of my
All
stuff
the
left in the basement
Mega CD, CU.
yeah,
because it's not.
It's amazing, isn't it? It's got.
loads.
Look, CD32, CDTVs. Super skid marks. I don't remember that.
Yeah.
Latest trilogy.
There's a few there I wouldn't mind. There is.
I'm looking for him.
I'm actually going on Ring trying to make this version of Invision. It's called Scandriga, but I paid for it
Found anything?
3 years ago.
Tari.
I think I put that.
Tari
I
shell.
keep emailing him and he says, he keeps wanting to make changes all the time. He's like, just keep it.
It's like,
send
can't
send
turn
it
around,
on
it's
and
like-
bring it.
Yeah.
All the welcome stuff. This must be the
ST.
Yeah.
do you reckon
Well, you
it's
can Indivision or you're making it yourself.
Don't know. Don't know if Simon come out for it. I don't think it did.
And then I've been playing it retro to bring it all back up again. Yeah.
Well, the
then I
new
tried not-
cases are quite expensive, aren't they? Really?
Oh, yeah.
It's like £200.
Plus, I think the keys are available.
NES.
They're making them at the moment, the keycaps, but they're not making the actual keyboard.
Yeah.
bit tiny?
But,
Like
yeah, I was-
600, the mem range just gone on.
oh, that's
Because the vampire kicks out a beat. I think it burnt it away.
There's someone on eBay
But I've
that
got,
shed loads of bits, and I think they just get loads of them and just pull them apart and sell the bits.
Sometimes they can make more money that way, that's why they do it.
I saw a keyboard for 1200 go for 150 quid.
Not sure
It's a
why
bit,
they do that.
you're
It's a
talking
bit
about Harry
strange,
36.
I still think there should be lights all around there.
Sorry. That's why we can't really let people in here normally, you know. So this is we've got a whole row of BBC Model Bs. They need to have
This is the archive section, so we've gone back behind like where we was. So it'd be nice to see, but it's a lot here. There is, and it's very narrow. So I'll see what I can film.
rows and rows of stuff. That's what it was behind. That's the laser display.
I can't get through there, I don't think.
800. Yeah. So we've got absolute.
Commodores, Amigas.
If you ever get 4,000 for sale, let us know.
Boy, behave.
Unlikely.
I'm after that. I am.
Have you got? I know it sounds silly. Have you got any 5 1/4s?
5 1/4 drives. Yes, we do. Where they are, I can't remember.
I think you can use the ones off the C64, won't you?
I don't think we can.
Sorry?
No, you can't.
Or is it a different interface?
Find them either, no.
Amigas. Action replay. Yeah, definitely. But it's just far too much stuff. Is that alarm going off?
Exactly, and almost every day we get a new load of donations, which we love. It's great.
Yeah.
Oh.
But you know,
You can't
you've
keep
got nowhere to put it.
I've got one of them as well.
Give it to me. I'll have them.
You'll never wander down there, Eds.
Yeah, but I don't think I'm allowed on my own. It's just seeing everything that you had when you was young. It's just mind blowing.
Have a wander down there.
I can't,
It
Steve.
is like you know, if you've not been in here, it's like
like
what
a
Howard Carter would have felt when he went into the pyramid. You know.
Put it this way, it'd be like if they said, "Oh, we don't know what."
I'll check your pockets on the way.
Yeah, it's fine.
I won't be able to get a 4,000 in my pocket.
Is there 4,000 down here?
You don't have an injury while you're down there.
No.
Look,
What's that?
4,000.
Yeah.
That's PC1.
God. That is crazy.
Look all the 500s.
Yeah, I filmed them, but I couldn't film anything down there. Because,
C64s.
yeah, I got there. Might need the light on.
BBC shelf.
I'm not really bothered about the BBCs.
I
But
like BBCs.
it's, yeah, you do. I don't know how you get the light on there. I don't know.
You put it on, there's an automatic flash. Isn't
Yeah, but I turned it off.
Yeah.
Because it wastes the batteries. 500s.
More
Mouses.
systems.
Yeah, I've got them.
1200s.
Yeah,
It's like Aladdin's cave.
he's mental. I've got that.
You used to own Carl Boots, aren't you? You don't get how much retro stuff we've got.
People know now though that
Sometimes it can be valuable.
Right, there's just too much stuff there is in here to actually film. Completely too much, but it's wicked. It is. That's the dude that owns it.
I feel like I've died and gone to heaven in here.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, once you get over that initial sort of fantastic, it starts to grind you down when it's this
Big.
Sort of
I can imagine if someone said to you, "Where is that lead?" and you're thinking, "Oh my!"
I know we've got
God.
one. Yeah, but
Where is
where
it?
it is. So,
But no, great, thank you.
that's all right. I think you've bought enough stuff over the last couple of years to have earned a trip to our.
Yeah, much appreciated that, totally.
Thank you.
Do-
Pac-Man again.
Yeah, toasters.
And that's why when we sell stuff on play, we sell it really cheap because we know we could have got a lot more for those Commodore 64s and stuff. But we're not, we're not commercial.
Do you want to see my latest?
No, it's very good, but we didn't have tablets. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'll get you.
Yeah, and then you can get in now because I moved back a bit. Look.
I'm a bit too tall.
Well, you chop your legs off.
Can do.
Then you'd be defeated.
I would be.
Yeah.
I'd be so we don't fall back.
Hello there, we're at the Retro Computer Museum in Leicester. We're the Amiga lads. Nice to meet you, David.
Well, my great pleasure.
So, what brought you down here today then?
Money. No, it's not true. That's not true, no. I'm only joking. No, I was actually thrilled to be invited because I've not been to this museum before and I heard a lot of good things about it. And obviously it's really great to meet Commodore and Amiga fans, and what better place to do it than somewhere like this. So, and actually I don't live all that far away either. I live in Peterborough, which from here is I can actually come on the train, and less than an hour on the train, so pretty good.
Oh, very nice. We remember meeting you down the car boot sale, don't we, Ad?
Yeah, we do. Quite long time ago now, it was. But yeah, just.
Yeah. Well, basically, we used to go down the car boot sale when we was kids, and we used to buy like Amiga bits, Commodore 64s down the market when kids didn't want them anymore. And strangely, we met David down there. I bought a Commodore C64 off him for £5 back then. Do you remember that, David?
Yeah, I do now you reminded me a little bit earlier. What it was that I had was just about to remarry, and I was taking my new wife over to Australia to live. So we had to get rid of everything, and so that car boot sale was a big one. It was quite a good one, if I remember rightly. So we went there and used that as an opportunity to sell the bits and pieces that we had. So a bit of a coincidence, but yeah, it was good.
So what really got you into like the Commodore originally? Why didn't you go over to, say, Atari, Sega, any other system?
Well, they didn't offer me a job. No, I came back. I was living in Australia, and I came back from Australia looking to get an international role if possible. But I wanted to get into the home computer business because I'd done some research. This was 1983, and in those days, of course, there was no internet. So any jobs that were available were advertised in the newspapers, usually Thursday afternoons and Sunday afternoons, Sunday morning. And anyway, I saw a job advertised that wanted somebody that could sell computers. And so I got on the phone, and it took me 40 minutes actually to get the guy to even give me an interview. And this was not for the Commodore job, this was another job. I didn't know that. Anyway, so I went for the interview, and as I arrived, I held the door open for a lady that was just leaving. I remember it quite well. Anyway, I went in for my interview, and at the end of the interview, the guy said, "Well, Mr. Pleasance, I'm sure that you could do this job easily, but I'm not going to put you forward for it." I said, "Oh, thanks a lot." He said, "No," he said, "the reason is that you've got such an incredible retail background, it would be wrong of me to not utilise that background into a job where, the companies will benefit from it." And he said, so I got up to leave. He said, "No, sit down." He said, "Did you see a lady leaving as you arrived?" And I said, "Yes." He said, "Well, she's just given me a brief for a job." He said, "I've not even had a chance to write it up yet because it literally just left." And he said, "But she's from Commodore and they need somebody to sell computers into retail, and I think you're perfect for it." So I ended up getting a job with Commodore that I didn't even apply for.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, that's just amazing, isn't it? But when you actually got the job, was you happy to get? I guess you would be happy to get the job, wouldn't you?
I was over the moon. But my job then, this is June of 1983, I was employed to sell Commodore PETs. Remember, this is before PCs. PCs weren't even out then. I was employed to sell Commodore PETs into the retail market. And just to show how incredibly disorganized Commodore was, the truth of the matter is I was there nearly 3 months, and then they decided that they hadn't got enough product to sell into retail. But luckily for me, the VIC-20 had been selling really well, and the 64 had just been released, and they were doing so well. They needed somebody to look after the national accounts, the big boys, the Dixons, the Comets, the Currys, and all of that. And so they appointed me in that role. So I then became, the national accounts manager for the consumer division, the boys' toys.
Very nice. I'm sure you've been asked this before, but what is your most favourite Commodore Amiga game?
Well, I have to say the game that I'm most fond of, and not for its playability or anything like that, it has to be Batman the movie, because that put the Amiga on the map, and I respect immensely Ocean Software, who when I approached them, they had just spent $1 million paying a license fee to do that as a game, to Hollywood, and they estimated it was going to cost them another $1 million to make the game, and I committed to them only 10,000 pieces because I wanted to do this pack and I didn't know how it was going to go. The net result is that they were nervous that it would affect their overall sales, because one of the conditions was they had to give me that game for 2 months in my pack before you could get it over the counter on its own. And they were nervous that it was going to affect their volume of sales. The net result is it did affect their volume of sales. They sold 5 times more than their best estimate.
Wow.
And I didn't take 10,000 pieces, I ended up taking 186,000 pieces, because that's how many Amiga packs we sold in 12 weeks to Christmas.
Well, that is amazing. That is.
So that's why I love the Ocean, the Batman game.
Also, do you know there's just the Sega? You put it next to the banner, next to the CD32. Yeah. Absolutely, that was a brilliant advert. That was.
Yeah, that was. We were very lucky there. Again, it was just a complete fluke that we found out that Sega had officially said that they could not do a 32-bit CD console. They'd announced it. That was Tom Kalinske, who was the president worldwide of Sega. 2 weeks before we were launching the CD32, he announced that it couldn't be done. If anybody could do it, Sega could do it, and we can't. And then, within about a few days of that, a guy rang me up, and who actually had all these poster sites all over. I'd used him before, but he rang me up and he said, David, he said, have I got a deal for you? He said, I've got 3 96-sheet poster sites in London. Somebody's already paid 50% deposit on them, right? But they've cancelled. So I'll let you have them for the 50% it's owing, right, half price. Oh, and by the way, one of them's right outside Sega's head office. So when you got that opportunity, it was a no-brainer.
You definitely have to do it.
Our agency who came up with this theme about, they said to me, you won't have the guts to run with this. And I said, you watch.
I'm glad you did. I'm glad you got that cut out on the Amiga format, I think it was, and I stuck it on a disc box.
Yeah.
Of like the floppies that I've got and everything. But I thought it was great advertising. And I was bunked into school and everything. I showed everybody at school, like, look at this, campaign sort of thing, the advertising and everything.
Well, the interesting thing is that, for some reason, people around the world seem to think that Commodore didn't do any advertising. In the UK, we sure and hell did.
Yeah.
We did a lot, and the results were there, But the crazy thing is that the US market, which I'm going to be talking about today, actually, they're what I call sales prevention officers, the Commodore US, because they did everything to screw the retail market. So we had no presence there. I fixed it. I did sort it out in the end. But I mean, I think the thing is that when you've got a good product, flaunt it, And the Amiga with 500 was a brilliant product, still is.
Is that, well, just to tie things up a little bit, is that the 500 your best Amiga?
It's the one that we had the best results with. I like the 1200 actually. I think the 1200 was an amazing product, but of course we hadn't released it very long before Commodore went under, so we'll never know what its true potential would have been. I mean, the CD32, we should never have launched it when we did, and the plan was not to launch it then. The plan was to launch it the following late spring, early summer, and in fact I had got development kits seeded in all the major software companies in the UK, because, as you know, I established a great relationship with them by doing the packs and using their products and promoting them. And so they were writing special games specifically for the CD32. And then I was instructed and forced into releasing the CD32 in September instead of 6 months later when it would have been right. Because Commodore Mediali wanted the sales. And I couldn't make him understand. All he would get is replacement sales. The 1200 sales would be replaced by 32, and then dealers would end up sitting with loads of stock that they couldn't sell, and he wouldn't listen. He reckoned he could get both, you see. So we launched the CD32 in September the 16th, in the Science Museum. And I don't know if you probably won't remember, but the theme of the launch.
Comic Relief or Chris Evans? No, that was the other one.
Chris Evans was there. He was my co-presenter. But no, the theme of the launch, and the reason we did it on September the 16th, was that 16 will never be the same again, because it was the 32-bit.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's very clever marketing, that, to be fair.
That's what I do. You know? Not just me. Not just me. I mean, my team, I had the best team. You know, we were seven people in the UK team, and every one of them contributed really great stuff. You know.
Do you think piracy was a big help towards the Amiga or not, or do you think it put it under, or?
No, well, I mean, I'm on record and very proud of the fact that I am completely anti-piracy, to the point that I can absolutely prove that we, and I know because it was me, we were the first hardware company to actually sign up and join FAST, the Federation Against Software Theft. And I was the very first hardware manufacturer to sign. I don't know if anybody did after me, but that was showing that, you know, we believed that piracy could destroy the games industry, because you can't spend all that money and then you don't sell anything, you know. And I made it clear to every software house that we supported whatever they do, and they needed us and we needed them. End of, you know. It's true.
Well, I think we're getting ready for your talk now, I'm afraid, so we'll have to cut it short.
You're afraid?
I'm afraid. Thank you very much for that.
No, my great pleasure.
Speaking.
No, thank you. It's a pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, David. Cheers. Could have gone on a lot more. I mean, yeah, we need a...
Exactly. No, we're back the book.
We're just waiting for it to come out.
Yeah.
But don't rush it.
No.
Yeah, don't rush it at all. Yeah, it's all interesting. It's all. I was young at the time when Commodore went under. I think we was about 15, 16 when I went under.
Yeah.
And I didn't really take it on, you know. Yeah. It's not my one though.
So yeah, we've got these loos, and then this will be our storage.
It's a bit better here. Yeah, he's...
I've got one of these. I've actually got one of these in the box.
We've got about, I don't know, 5 or 6 of those. So.
I don't know what to do with it. We've got one.
Yeah.
It's just...
Toaster, 128 toaster.
Yeah, there's lots of stuff here, Steve. Just don't want to find my telly. I don't.
7 TVs over there is yours?
No, the virtual reality machine.
He's still trying to track his old TV down from when he was a kid.
Yeah.
So you know it exists somewhere.
We saw it in the Cambridge one.
Oh yeah.
He's trying to buy
What is it?
It's a Sonio. I've got the model number. Yeah, it's a colour TV, 14-inch little cream. Yeah. Yeah, but...
Yeah. So this is the racking that we're starting to put up, and then you saw the racks obviously in the other area. So we don't need to buy all the racks for this, because once we start emptying the racks over there, we can take the racks out.
What are we going to do for heat though?
So we've got radiators.
Oh, yeah, we've got radiators.
There's radiators there.
And we'll once everything's properly in here, we'll keep the heat on all the time, just on low.
Yeah. Because otherwise, that's your biggest fear, isn't it?
But that's why we built this workshop as well, because all the sort of things for repair and all the, you know.
What the hell is that?
So that is of Extrax basically, a very large version of one. It doesn't quite work, but we'll get it up running. But basically that's what it is. So.
It just looks big and unusual.
Yeah, he's massive.
How we made is what it looks like.
God. Won't see one of them again. No, it's just amazing. It's just how much. Oh.
The problem is, it's like my storage unit. I've got loads in my storage unit, and it's like I load part with it.
Yeah.
It's absolutely amazing. It's crazy.
So yeah, we're hoping this storage area will keep us going for a while.
It would definitely will.
But you saw how much stuff that's in there, and it's all going to have to fit in here eventually.
God. You might even end up moving everything in it, you know, all the areas and everything.
Exactly. So.
Obviously, you filmed it all, so, you know, the starting progress and everything. That's great.
Stuff like that, so,
That's even got the helmet as well. The virtual reality machine. It's just great. Yep.
Those people who come around, they just want to play, just to have a look into all the boxes and,
Nah.
have a rummage through everything.
You can't do that, can you?
But we are going to asset label this. Everything's going to be on a database, so.
You know what you've got.
They all work, 6
Yeah.
days. Because it's usually the TED and the other one that doesn't work. But,
It's like more Vectrexes.
All the 500s and all these.
Can't really get them.
Were from the barn farms. Oh. Yeah, the guy rang us up and said, so I had all this stuff in my barn. He was a farmer, so I had it for 30 years roughly in my barn. Do you want to come and have a look at it? And basically, he had a business that refitted shops, and Castle Computers in Leicester shut down about 30 years ago. His company got the job of going in and fitting it all out. And whilst the first time we went in, they left all the
Jaguar.
stuff, and he thought, well, rather than throw it away, I'll stick it in my barn. So,
Not very nice to that be me.
Them arcade machines.
30 years later, they said, you guys want it, and we said yes.
Because you've got the master that you'd have to take the batteries out.
Them Eagle over there.
Yeah, I was going to say, it wouldn't stand it up that way.
I remember that little handheld there and soon on it. My cousin had one of them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that handheld did a little driving game there.
Yeah. It's amazing what we get actually.
Do you get a lot of things donated, or do you get people try it on as well, where they go, oh, it's worth 300 quid, we want 100 quid for it?
Very, very rarely do we get people who try and ask for money. I mean, 99% of the time, people donate stuff, which is very nice.
Yeah. We've had a few things and I've donated, but you don't get as much as you thought, you know what I mean, you think you would. I think it might be because down in London, everyone just wants money.
Yeah, I know. It could be a London thing, but people do realise now what this stuff's
What's worth, yeah.
Whereas they perhaps didn't a little while ago.
If I put it this way, when I was collecting, like I said the other minute, Pleasance and Steve Covertly, you could pick up an Amiga and you're being asked, you could pick up a car like that, and they go, oh, how much? Oh, I don't know, gives a tenner for
or something.
Yeah, for the lot, and you'd be like, what? Now it's like, oh, give us 1,500 and we might think of taking it. Criminal. Do you do the repairs yourself? Or?
Yeah. I mean, Andy does a lot of the Spectrum repairs, and I tend to do the Commodore 64 stuff, and the BBC cap replacements, those kind of things. Just split in between.
You're good at circuit level, or is it just basic?
No, for me, for all of us, we can do sort of basic type stuff up to a certain level. But when it gets to like trying to do proper diagnosis on a circuit, that's beyond most of us really. So we've got a few people we know who can do that for us. So.
Yeah.
Right, let's get back.
Yep.
Sounds good.
Got coffee. Yeah, cheers. Hopefully we might be back another time and he'll be all done.
But we're still going to we're going to
Raining.
let people come round when it's done, just so they can see. Bloody hell, is that snow?
It is snow.
Great.
I said it was going to snow, didn't I?
You did, I think. I ignored you.
No one